Jacques Cousteau, the man who explored the great depths of undersea life, encountered the unknown along with danger, and exchanged his knowledge with the world. Jacques Cousteau was born on June 11, 1910 in France. He was very adventurous and yearned to explore his wonders at a young age. At age 6, Cousteau's family rented a flat by the sea in the western outskirts of Cannes. Trains would speed past on the tracks behind their house, as Cousteau spent many days spellbound by them. Cousteau was bored with the traditional school curriculum and often misbehaved, for which he even got expelled. He and his family enjoyed a summer in the French region of Alsace-Lorraine. There he sat on the bottom of their pool attempting to breathe through a tube that reached the surface. He learned that under a pool's heavy pressure, human lungs cannot successfully breathe in thin surface air. Jacques Cousteau graduated second in his class at the École Navale, the French Naval Academy. He was then sent to a naval base in Shanghai, China, and promoted to second lieutenant. He was sent to map and survey land, and he filmed in his spare time. He trained to be in the Navy, but in 1936 he severely injured his left forearm, which changed his path. He would then swim every day in the Mediterranean Sea to rehabilitate his arm. In 1936, an officer presented him with goggles to prevent salt water from stinging his eyes. Near the port of Toulon, he swam with them, and it caused him to open his eyes and really see the beauty of the underwater world. The Cousteau Society states, "It was a breathtaking revelation." One Sunday morning, I waded into the Mediterranean and looked into it through Furness goggles. I was astonished by what I saw in the shallow shingle at Les Morillons, rocks covered with green, brown, and silver forests of algae, and fish unknown to me, swimming in crystalline water. Sometimes we are lucky enough to know that our lives have been changed, to discard the old, embrace the new, and run headlong down an immutable course. It happened to me at Les Morillons on that summer's day, when my eyes were opened on the sea. He wrote in his book, The Silent World. Cousteau fell in love with the sea, but the standard equipment that was available was not capable of much. In 1943, Cousteau met engineer Émile Gagnon. They both shared a love for the sea and later developed the aqualung. The aqualung was a device adapted to control and supply a diver with the right amount of oxygen that could remain in heavy pressures. In the device, gas flows into a car's carburetor. The apparatus makes sure that the water pressure is equal to the air pressure in the lungs of the diver. Cousteau stated with the device, "The important thing is that now the diver is free, and safety is in freedom." In 1950, Jacques Cousteau acquired the boat which he would name Calypso in Malta, Europe. It was previously a Royal Navy minesweeper. She was then transformed into a research vessel. The ship would later take Cousteau and his team on important expeditions. As an explorer, Cousteau stated that he had no expectation of what he shall find, or else he would not bother looking. He said, "To those who wonder exactly what practical goal the explorer takes, the answer is simple: none." He would soon experience discoveries that were rather unexpected. In 1953, Jacques Cousteau produced the documentary The Silent World. The film received an Oscar and many other awards. It demonstrated some of the dangers of diving. A great danger of sponge diving is decompression sickness caused by the formation of bubbles which can block veins and arteries. A diver explained how his partner had become drunk on his own breath. Some divers collected footage at 247 feet that had never been seen before, deepest shot ever taken by a cameraman. A few divers went underwater to go shark cage diving and collected other important footage. Cousteau stated, "This underwater dance of death has never been seen by any man who lived to tell the tale." On one trip to an underwater cave near Avignon, France, he encountered a near-death experience. He and his partner Didi were tied together by a 30-foot line of rope. Little did they know that their aqua lungs were filled with carbon monoxide. Not until 200 feet could Cousteau really comprehend that something was not right. Didi was a little more distorted than him and eventually let go of the rope connecting them to the surface. Didi's eyes rolled back and his mouthpiece fell out. Cousteau stated, "I fought the fog settling over my own brain. For a flash, I envisioned the nightmare awaiting us in a watery tomb if our air ran out." He eventually found the guideline and struggled, but was able to pull himself and his friend up to the surface. Important expeditions were the Conshelf missions. Conshelf 1 in 1961 sent 2 people from Cousteau's team to live 37 feet underwater for a week in Marseilles. The underwater habitat contained oxygen and helium. With a cylindrical shape, it was 5 meters long and 2.5 meters in diameter. Doctors would keep track of their health while 2 men worked underwater each day studying animals and building an underwater farm. Conshelf 2 in 1962 was located in the Red Sea off the coast of Sudan. This expedition sent 6 divers to live in a starfish-shaped house for a month. There was an additional cabin underwater that contained 2 divers for a week at 82 feet. During the mission, the team encountered the unknown. André Falco, a French diver, described the team's encounters with sea life that were sometimes frightening. He said, "I found myself along staring with fright at a bush that walks. Every time I come across a fish new to me, I am scared at first." When it was time for the divers in the lower depths to rise, they had to breathe in a special mixture for 3 hours because their bodies had been saturated with gases. It was hoped that it would protect them from decompression sickness, which can be caused by changes of pressure when scuba diving. It was only a theory that was proved during laboratory experiments. Cousteau states, "Now in the sea, men will take this theory to the test." The third and final Conshelf in 1965 had 6 divers live in the underwater house for 3 weeks at 336 feet underwater near a lighthouse between Nice and Monaco. The air inside the house was a mixture of helium and oxygen. Before the voyage, the men were instructed to flush their lungs with oxygen to help avoid dangerous traces of heavy nitrogen. Pressure inside of the habitat builds up to equal that of the water. The men were required to have daily exams to measure health. Many tests were conducted on multiple parts of the body to measure bacterial growth. All these tests were sent to the surface boats where Captain Cousteau was. No plants can survive where the sun does not reach. What appeared to be vegetation to the oceanauts turned out to be tiny colonies of animals. Captain Cousteau wondered if artificial light could introduce photosynthesis into deep parts of the ocean. A doctor planted a powerful lamp over a plastic submarine greenhouse. When the samples were analyzed on the surface, the lighted box samples contained more live organic matter than the unlighted area nearby. If optical light can transmit solar light 1,000 feet underwater, undersea farming could become a reality. Cousteau's Conshelf explorations were very important because they showed how well humans can function and perform heavy manual labor at great depths. They gained more knowledge while filming footage of never-seen-before species and improved the technology of underwater exploration for future missions. In addition to his inventions, expeditions, and experiments, Jacques Cousteau presented his knowledge and images of the sea to the world through many of his books and films, including A World Without Sun, the TV series The Odyssey, The Silent World, and many more. Cousteau passed away in 1997 at the age of 87. The revolutionary captain explored the great depths of undersea life, encountered the unknown along with danger, and exchanged his knowledge with the world.